What's up, Keep Pounding crew? We're back today with another video. Keep pounding! Today's topic is the post-game of the Ravens versus the Carolina Panthers in Bank of America Stadium. If you like the video, if you like the channel, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell, select all, and leave a comment down below. Let's dive on in. Now, first thing I focus on, if you have not seen my videos before post games, I do a chart of each position and how they did, and I grade it through A through F. So let's do this. But before we get started, if you would like to join the Fantasy Football Yahoo League of the Keep Pounding League, in all caps, hit me up in the comment section below or on Facebook if you'd like to join that. Again, top 3 spots will get a signed letter from me congratulating you on your success and for participating. I don't have prizes this year, but next year I might. So, that in mind, you will just be playing for fun. So, let's get into these grades, shall we? Today's progress was actually very, very good, particularly on defense. Offensively, we didn't progress at all, except for the offensive line. But I will get into that in a minute. Quarterbacks. Let's start with quarterbacks. C+. And let me tell you why this is a C+. And it's not because of Sam Darnold. It's not because of Will Grier. Both of them had a really good day, and they showed up. So, with that in mind, looking at their numbers, you're looking at Will Grier with an 11 for 14 day, 144 yards. Yes, he was sacked twice. One of those was his fault because he held on to the ball too long. But the other one was because an offensive lineman let go of his block. So, you're looking at a pretty solid day for Will Grier. He didn't throw a pick. He only underthrew it once. And it was a good day. You know, Scott Fitterer says that the quarterback battle is wide open, quote unquote. Now, let's take a look at PJ Walker's numbers. 1 for 8 today. 1 for 8. And that one pass was for 8 yards. He overthrew everything in the second half. Did y'all notice that? Or are y'all sleeping again? Come on now. Sam Darnold, 1 for 2. Of course, we didn't get a real good look at him, but, you know. It's... Coach Rule said he would only go in for about 2 series. We wanted to run the running backs a little bit and test them out. So, I mean, not a big deal, right? Not a big deal. So you have a grand total of 13 for 24 for 168 yards and 2 sacks that occurred to Will Grier. Overall, it doesn't look that impressive, but if you look at Will Grier's numbers alone, minus the 2 sacks now, 11 for 14, 144 yards, that's pretty solid. That's a solid day's work. Now, it's PJ that brought everybody down. That's why that's a C+. Otherwise, I would be glad to give this quarterbacking crew a B+. Gladly. You know? Besides the underthrow, besides the 2 sacks, I got to tack off for that. But beyond that, B+ for the other 2, you know? Solid day's work for both of them. But it's because of the PJ Walker performance. I gotta rate that a C+. I'm sorry, it's gotta happen. He dragged everybody down an entire letter grade. Running backs, B. I was very impressed with Chuba Hubbard today. He actually made everybody look good today in that running back core. Even Brown. So if we look at the rushing right now, we're looking at 9 carries for 24 yards, 2.7 for Chuba. Overall in the stats, it doesn't look that impressive. But if you look at how he got those yards, that changes the entire perspective, doesn't it? So, ignore the average of 2.7, ignore the longest run of 9 yards, and you got a pretty solid day's work from Chuba Hubbard, plus the 1 block, which he was not expected to make. So, good day on Chuba Hubbard. The rest of the running backs, didn't really do that much because of the Ravens' defensive line being as stout as it was today. So, respect to the Ravens line, it really did step up. Those guys plugged the gap and did everything they were supposed to do, against us, and we just could not get anything out of those draw plays, which was unfortunate in ISOs. But we managed to get a couple of those runs on the outside, which was good. So we move on to the wide receivers, B. A couple of them ran the run routes. I saw maybe 1 drop. If you want to rate that a drop. Excuse the yawn. It's been a long day. I'm tired. So, but yeah. If you want to rate that a drop, that was from PJ Walker. It was way too high up in the air. So, count it as a drop if you will. It's Shi Smith. He can actually go up and try to get those balls. But it should never have been thrown that high. Overall, though, wide receivers did a good job today. I was happy with them. They created enough separation in quarters 2, 3, and 4 that I thought, I was satisfied. Overall, the ones that caught my attention, of course, the obvious ones, Terrace Marshall Jr., Shi Smith, of course, Tommy Tremble, and probably Robbie. Robbie was the last one that got my attention. And if you want to count Hubbard as a wide receiver, then yes, he caught my attention as well. But I just want to say very, very specifically, if you want to count those 0 for 2 against Bayless, remember who was throwing the ball when he was out there. And it wasn't Will Grier. It wasn't Sam Darnold. So I just want to make sure that's known. So he actually made those numbers look bad. Same with Zylstra. So, understand that it's not always the wide receiver's fault. Now, moving on to tight ends, you got B. Richie had 2 catches today. Now, he had 1 catch for 11 yards, but it was a significant one. Tommy Tremble, 2 catches today, 18 yards. And his longest was 12. Both of those impactful to keep the drives alive. So, the most noticeable thing about Trimble is the yards after the catch. He actually broke a big tackle and kept going. So, credit to Trimble on that one. O-line, B plus today. Very much improved O-line today. Now, I will say I did see one missed block by a very specific player, which I won't name, but he knows who he is if he's watching this video, and he knows he's going to be running laps on Monday. Plain and simple. You miss a major block that gets your quarterback sacked, you are going to run laps. Point blank. Matt Rule does not put up with that. He's not a soft coach, as he has said in Camp Confidential. So, yeah, expect that. So, if you're still not sure who that was, that would be the number 63, I believe it was. So, if I'm wrong about that, let me know in the comments. But I'm usually pretty on target with this. So, if I get it wrong, they'll let me know in chat in the live stream. So, there you go. But the O-line looked very, very good on pass protection today. You know, all three quarterbacks had ample time to throw the ball. You know, except for Will Greer, who held on to it for a little too long on one play, which did lead to a sack. So, there's no excuses for not getting it done if you're the quarterbacks today. No excuses. These guys showed their true colors today with the O-line doing their job properly. So, yes, B+, very much improved. There's a couple of things I would like to see cleaned up, but overall, you know. And I'm willing to give the new guy a little credit, you know, on the line that committed the false start penalty. No, it was offsides penalty. That's what it was. My mistake, guys. But yeah, no false starts today. No false starts. Notice that. Look at the discipline of this O-line today. Can I just give this O-line some love today? That was amazing. I haven't seen this an offensive line of ours in any game since 2015 come up with 0 false starts in a game. Brilliant. Brilliant. That's the discipline we're looking for, folks. Right there. That is the definition of success on the O-line when it comes to penalties. Wonderful job. I need to see more of it. Let's see if you can do that more consistently. Now, granted, you're bound to see 1 or 2 a game. That's going to happen. And I'm going to call out the players that do it, obviously. They're going to end up probably running laps. But, overall, 0 is what you want to strive for. And we did just that today. Brilliant, brilliant job, O-line. The run blocking could use some work, and that's the only reason I had to demote it down to a B+. Plus the missed block that led to the sack. But, overall, fantastic job today. You know, the run blocking could use some work. I'm not going to complain about it, though. I think, you know, if we keep working on it, it's going to eventually succeed. You know, second string on down. First string, run blocking, great. Yeah, I saw no problems there. Chuba Hubbard had no problems getting through that line and making some decent-sized runs. which Christian McCaffrey, if he was in, would absolutely shred on those gaps. So, brilliant. So, moving on, defensive end, B, saw some excellent pass rushing from Spider Burns, early on in the first quarter. That led to some inaccurate passes. That led to one pick. So I was very pleased with that. And some pass breakups. Very pleased with that as well. Wonderful job by these guys. That's the type of pass rushing that we need to be seeing more of. Aggressive pass rushing throughout all four quarters. And I saw that today, and that made me very, very satisfied. So, yeah, again, for the defensive ends, though, I've got to tack off, though, on not getting off your blocks on the outside, particularly on the left side of the defensive line. We gave up a lot of runs to that corner, which would be the right side of the offense that's facing us. So we got to clean that up. We got to get off our blocks. We got to do a better job of recognizing that these are going to be sweep plays or run counters, and put a stop to it. Get there and put a stop to it. Defensive tackle, B-. I thought, I got to tack off for that because later on in the game, as the game went on, and some of this might be fatigue, but we saw a lot of running plays up the middle that killed us, early on. And draw plays. Those counter runs, though. Once we started plugging up the middle, and it mostly took linebackers to do so, they started going to the outside. So that's why it's a B- for me, because we did start improving towards the third and fourth strings, at defensive tackle. So, I wasn't disappointed, but we just have a lot of work to do there to make sure that both of those things are cleaned up. And if these guys close these gaps and get it done. Now, linebackers, I just said we were using the linebackers to plug up the gaps. Good job there. We still got some work to do there, though. A lot of work to do there. However, Frankie Luvu made these linebackers look great. And I'm going to tell you that right now because Luvu had a heck of a day. Let me read you this man's stats. And they may not seem impressive to you right now. But when you put those together with the great tackling that we've been doing the entire all four quarters, it's going to make him look fantastic on film. Luvu had 3 combined tackles by himself, 1 quarterback hit, 1 pass deflection, and 1 forced fumble. That was a strip fumble. So, give Luvu credit. The full credit he deserves. What a day by this man. The other players I noticed that stood out is Christian Miller. Now, this man's been having a quiet But semi productive camp, you know. But for all accounts, he hasn't been noticeable. And that could be a good thing and that could be a bad thing as well. Because if you're not noticeable, you're likely to be on the bubble to be cut. But in a way, if you're quietly getting it done, like this man was, you're probably going to be on the upside of that bubble, looking in. So, we're looking at a man that had 3 combined tackles, 2 of them assisted, and 1 tackle for a loss. Not bad for a man that's not really noticeable, right? So, we move on to some of the other guys here. And I gotta say, Reddick stood out. He got that pass deflection that led to an interception. And look what this man did with it. So, not bad for being out for a little bit, and coming back in here as a pro and getting it done. Props to you. So, overall, good day from the linebackers, but we need to see more, right? That's why I'm listing it as a B. It's I'm giving these guys the credit they deserve. So, cornerbacks, B, solidly. I saw some missed coverages. I saw some of these guys get wide open. But most of that was in the fourth. Ugh. All right, excuse the yawns again. But for the most part, that was in the second half. For the first half, I noticed a lot of good coverage by these corners. I thought, the second, third string looked solid. On down from there, we got a few question marks, but I'm not gonna throw these guys under the bus today. They did solidly well, Free safety B, strong safety B. Kenny Robinson kind of was quiet today, but it is what it is. He got his 1 tackle, but it was a quiet one, but he got it done. I'm not complaining. So, special teams, I gotta tack off for that missed field goal. I hate to do it, Joey. I hate to do it. But this man's been struggling. So, that's got to be a B for me. Everybody else did their job right, though. I will say that. Excellent punt by Charlton. So, he had a busy day today because PJ kept overthrowing and having dead drives. But, it is what it is. I don't fault these guys for anything that happens with our offense causing dead drives and punts. So, coaching, A. Matt Rule has done such a great job with this team. I'm pleased. He's getting on these guys when they make mistakes. He's doing all the little things right as a head coach. All the timeouts were at the right times, that we've had to use in the first 2 games. I have zero problems. He came out there like a absolute dog in those training camp days and told him, look, get it done. You know? Don't make excuses, just get it done. You know, and there's something to be said for a coach that is willing to point out all of your mistakes until you wake up. That's a real ball coach. You know, this man is not soft. He is strong. He is hardcore. He will get it done. He will make you run laps. So, you know, credit to the man. He's doing a great job. Tackling, B+. I saw some great tackles today. And I saw a few missed tackles towards the end. And some of those missed tackles you can throw towards fatigue. Some of them you can't. But overall, I'm pleased with it. You know, I thought, you know, we look good tackling. And I point out the fact that on the 2-minute drive by the Ravens before halftime, these guys were coming up and just laying the wood on these wide receivers and not letting them get any more yards after the catch. Y'all know I'm a huge proponent of that underrated stat right there. And the fact that it took the Ravens that long to get down the field slowed down their offenses. Because our guys were aggressive. Yes, we did allow those catches. And yes, we can improve on pass deflections and closing those gaps a little bit. You know, if you're playing press. If you're not playing press, then it's understandable. But if you are playing press, we need to do a better job of closing those gaps a little bit and trying to get some of those pass deflections. Try to raise that number a little bit. Now, today's total for pass deflections was a grand total of 5. I'd like to see that number go up. You know, we can be a bit more aggressive on those. That's the next step forward. And I like the aggressiveness on the tackling. Don't get me wrong. Keep doing that. But we can do a little better. You know, just push the envelope. Just a little more. And it was beautiful to see that. Because it reminded me of the 2015 Super Bowl team when we went to San Francisco. You know, we were tackling. We were the most aggressive defense when it came to stopping the yards after the catch. The only one I could find that was better at that was Seattle at the time. And guess who our GM is now? Scott Fitterer. And he was a genius at finding these guys. So, guess what we're doing again? You gotta love that. You gotta love that. That's exciting right there. And I love being able to compare some of our guys to that team because that shows me we are making significant progress in that area. In the right direction. So, I had to give out praise where it was due. And an effort B+ today. Very good effort. Very happy with it. Final thoughts. We have issues on the offensive line that got improved upon. We had issues at linebacker that got improved upon. We had issues on tackling that got better. We had a few issues on plugging up the gap in the middle that got better. But again, we're still like a leaky boat. You know, once you fix one problem, the next problem is going to pop up somewhere else. So, overall, we just keep plugging those gaps. We keep plugging those holes up and see what happens next. The only consistent problem that we still have is PJ Walker. Now, if this man can get these balls down, we're in great shape with PJ. I don't mind him being second string as long as he can get those balls down and stop overthrowing everything, which led to your 1 for 8 today. He overpowers his throws. They aren't going to get you anything. If you keep settling for the short passes, anybody could do that. Anybody could look good doing that. Will Greer pushed the envelope. He threw it medium range. He threw it deep ball range. And he threw it on target. So I just want to point that out. So if anyone still thinks this quarterback battle is quote-unquote still wide open, I got to disagree with that. And Scott, if you're watching this, man, please consider my opinions, because good Lord, PJ's been overthrowing everything in camp imaginable up through now. And I don't want to be that person right now to throw players under the bus, but it's nothing but love. You know what I mean? And my advice is I don't think we should cut him yet, because we do need 3 quarterbacks. And the short passes are still gold. The medium passes are really, really questionable. So yeah, I think if he keeps working at it, he can improve. But should he be second string? No. Not a chance. No. And today pretty much settled that for me. I don't know about the coaching staff, but it settled it for me. That being the case, I think if we can get our offense going and put some points on the board and take the pressure off the defense, we should be fine. That being said, the usual suspect players did what they usually do. The big names, J.C. Horn, Luvu, Terrence Marshall Jr., the whole crop of players that we've been promoting have been doing their job consistently. And there's that word, consistently. That's what you want. They're setting the bar. They're setting the example for everybody else here in preseason. If you want a roster spot, if you want a depth chart spot, earn it. Bring your competitive fire. Earn it.